So I'm all set.
Dermot, can you keep an eye on the time? 'Cause I rushed through that.
Yeah.
Can you give me,
Okay, so we're looking at. Okay.
when it gets a natural break after 15, you stop me?
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Sorry, I have a prop. There's no purpose for this.
Yeah.
Other than to hold it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick anecdote. When I did a pitch in the National Convention Centre in Beijing.
Yeah.
And my slides disappeared. They weren't there.
Oh, right.
So I was in China with these Chinese slides.
Yeah.
This new product. It was a hyper-local TV
Yeah.
platform
Yeah.
for the biggest community on the planet.
Yeah.
And it was all in Chinese behind it. 6 slides. And there was 27 presentations concurrently. And ours was the only one. So I had a pen in my hand where I'd been writing notes, and I grabbed it and I said, your country has 800 million internet users. And you broadcasters in the room don't know a damn thing about any of them. But it was the pen that got me through it. And ever since, even if you have to do a short pitch,
Yeah.
you almost
It is. It is helpful to have something.
That's right. I'm not going to point it out right now. So, okay, we're ready?
Yeah, set.
Sure. Okay, so Jack, just introduce yourself and tell me what you do.
So I'm a corporate lawyer with Kingwood Mastons. Kingwood Mastons is a firm headquartered in China and Australia. So we've got 3,000 lawyers around the network. So I'm based in the London office, and in London we have 100 people, and together with around 300 in total across our European offices.
Okay. And what's your area of expertise?
So my area of expertise is cross-border transactions between China and the UK. So in all types of sectors. So we follow closely the trends in investments between China and the UK. So in recent years, it's been life sciences, advanced technology, pharmaceuticals, and financial services.
So you're here in Scotland at this event. What are you hoping to experience here?
So I think I'm very keen to understand a bit more about the life science and the technology community and how these two communities blend together within the context of a cross-border China-UK, China-Europe kind of context. So I think, that's very much in my area of expertise, and I'm very keen to hear what other people have been experiencing in their ventures, in these areas.
It's quite a complex mix, which makes it both challenging and exciting, right?
Indeed. Yeah, I think the main challenges lie in the cultural aspects. I think cultural aspects is a big kind of stumbling block between transactions. I think, Chinese parties, UK parties, European parties, they're all very much keen to get the deal done. I think, Chinese want the investments made, the European parties want the money, essentially, and also the kind of fruitful collaboration with the opening of the Chinese market going forward. But I think the stumbling block lies in the difference in the way deals are executed in the two countries. Language is one thing, but it's not the most predominant thing because, you get an interpreter quite easily. But I think it's the way how business is done, how transactions are effected, and also the role of advisors because, European parties are very keen on advisors taking the lead, whereas Chinese parties are keen to kind of have the commercial parties taking the lead. So I think there's a lot of kind of groundwork that needs to be done in between to kind of bring the two parties together. And I think that's what we specialize in at Kingwood Mastons. We aim to bring the two parties together in a kind of smooth and seamless manner.
And what about blockchain technology? What is your understanding? What is your depth of knowledge? And what do you think? Where is it going?
So, as a firm, we're a law firm. So, we're most interested in the regulatory and supervisory aspects of blockchain and related technology. So, in the 3 hubs around the world, in Shanghai, London, and also in Hong Kong, we're very active in this space. So, our team in Shanghai is headed up by Mark Schaub, who's one of the star partners in this area. And also in London, we have Greg Stonefield, whose expertise lies also in this area. And also Hong Kong, as we all know, Hong Kong's a evolving community and trying to position itself as the leading center for blockchains and ICOs. So we have Ursula McCormick there who heads up the team. So as a firm, we're very well positioned to kind of capture all of these interest hubs around the world. In terms of moving forward, I think the biggest thing will be regulation in our view, because regulation, at present, we know that blockchain is a relatively lightly regulated area. And, if you go on any website of a regulator, they'll have, a bit of know-how. They'll tell you that, these are potentially high-risk products. They're lightly regulated. The investor protection isn't comprehensive. So, in our view, we very much see that this will evolve towards slightly more regulation over the passage of time.
And obviously, in BioLife specifically, what's your take on what you understand of BioLife?
So I think it's very much a life sciences kind of angle, taking the best of life sciences technology in the UK and other European countries, and then implementing it with a degree of digitization and being able to kind of market that to a wider community.
Now, obviously there are, in every vertical there are several attempts at the great white hope, the next big thing,
Yeah.
and it's powered by blockchain. What, in your view or understanding, will make BioLife a success?
I think ultimately it will boil down to the technology, being able to harness the technology and being able to identify the right markets and the right offerings. I think that's extremely important. I think it really depends on the geographical market that you're aiming at, and the products will have to be tailored to suit that geography. And I think apart from that, being able to catch up with any wave of regulation will also be very important, because I think in our firm's kind of collective experience, we're seeing that increasing regulation is definitely on the uptrend. And so being able to kind of follow the trend and be compliant as the regulators evolve, then I think that's something we need to bear in mind.
And obviously, being here in sunny Scotland, it's a bit of a coup, isn't it, for this region, this venue, and also some talk of potential research labs and clinics here. How do you feel about that?
I think Scotland and the UK generally, I think there's a lot of potential. I think as we all know, the great medical schools in Edinburgh, Glasgow, they're very, very esteemed, very well renowned across the world. And I think with all the research institutes around it, I think that would be a great potential for collaboration. I think the Chinese interest in the UK has very much focused on London, the London research centres, and Oxford and Cambridge at present. So we worked a lot on a few deals with a few Oxford institutes. And so we think that the kind of trend of moving further north to kind of harness on the expertise of the kind of medical schools here would be a very good move.
So it's almost, the world is such a small place these days, but it's showing local concentrated value of skills and expertise, but for a global marketplace. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so, because I think the expertise here is first class, but there needs to be more marketing around the world as to what this particular part of the world offers. And I think at present, there's not that much of it, but there's definitely room to enhance that.
Okay, and in terms of you just arrived, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So you haven't met anybody yet?
No.
Okay. What would be an ideal outcome for you from today?
I think an ideal outcome would be for us to kind of understand a bit more about the community here, what they view as being their challenges, both from a kind of deal perspective or technology perspective. And potentially from that, we can think about how, as a firm, we can help our clients and the rest of this community.
Now, let's broaden this out slightly. Do I have time? 10. Let's broaden this out slightly. I have worked, my whole career has been in media online,
Mm.
and I've done things that in early days would be probably jailable, copyright breaches and all
Yeah.
sorts of things. But there has been an ebb and flow in terms of freedom of internet, democracy on internet, and so on. We've globally struggled with those aspects. Is blockchain? It's not going to be the single enabler, but is blockchain one of the enablers to actually re-democratize the internet?
Potentially, I think. I mean, this will come with difficulties. I think as a law firm, we're very much focused on regulation, and I think the main stumbling block in our view would be the regulation, because regulators. I mean, it's a fine balance between democracy and also being able to protect investors and the general public, and I think this balance will be a very delicate balance going forward.
And I mean, regulation, yes, the balance, when it's right, regulation means there's an even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Things are safe, secure, everyone's interests are safe and secure. And ultimately the end user,
Yeah.
which is what this should all be about. You know, BioLife should be about the value to millions or hundreds of millions of people, right?
Mm.
And their well-being. If we get it right, we get the balance right, everyone will be a winner, is that right?
I think so, because I think it's really about making the regulators comfortable. And I think regulators are by nature conservative people. And so if you can kind of convince them that, the product that has been offered is conventional, falls within the parameters of established products, then I think that would make it a lot easier. So, if taking ICOs as an example, the inspiration came very much from IPOs, so initial offerings of securities. And so, if we can kind of convince regulators that any regulatory regime that you impose will be, similar to or a bit lighter than a kind of initial public offering, then I think that's potentially something that will be the direction of flow. Because I think it's very difficult for a regulator to think novelly. I think most regulators can only stick with general principles of law and other products that they know. And so if the starting point is something that they already know, then we can gradually kind of make something, a regime that fits both the community, the general public, and also the regulators.
And just to finish, let's focus down on why we're here. You're looking forward to meeting some world-class experts at this event, this gathering. That augurs well for the potential success of BioLife, right?
Well, absolutely. I think BioLife is a very successful company, has great potential, and I think being able to kind of harness that and raise its profile, with all these world-class speakers, fantastic event here, and I think all of that will kind of bring together and raise the profile of BioLife, which is all extremely exciting.
Okay. Yeah, well done. Great, thanks very much.
Great.